Hey folks, Colin here from Sumthins Recording, and today I'm going to show you how to edit and line up samples. We're going to be doing a little bit of editing here today, but before we dive in, if you're ready to go a little bit deeper into the mixing process as a whole and really start to hone your workflow as an engineer, then I have just the thing for you. It is my 7-step mixing checklist. It's a simple PDF that will guide you through the entire mixing process, step by step, to help you get professional and radio-ready mixes without the hassle and without the guesswork. It is a completely free guide, and you can download it below using the link in the video description. Now let's jump in here and start looking at these samples. Now I was just working through this track, and I just imported a couple samples that the artist wants, pasted into the track at a couple different points, kind of lining up with the drum beat here. Figured I'd turn on the camera and show you here how I edit out these samples and line them up to fit with the drum beat. So I'm just going to grab these two pieces here and pull them up into our drum kit. Probably here by the claps for the moment. First one here is a sample of a basketball crowd yelling defense. Let me unmute that here. You can take a listen to that.
They're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one.
So those two right there, he just wants the crowd yelling defense, pretty much to line up with our two claps there. So I'm going to grab these two clear ones here that are pretty much isolated by themselves. And I'm going to grab those and just make a new track here. Call it defense sample? That's not how you spell any of that. There we go. Okay, and we'll just paste it up to that track, mute this one, and see if we can get it to line up with our claps here. So we have the bass hit that the first one's going to line up with, and then these have to line up with our two claps here pretty much. That's where we want our defense to sit. I'm going to try the second one here. The first one looks a little bit shorter, so we'll see if we can get this to sit at least close enough to the claps. It doesn't have to be right on. So we might have to shorten it a little bit. Let's see if we can shorten it a little bit. I'm just going to drag it back one, and if you hold down Alt and Command, you can shorten things up a little bit. I'm going to shorten it 1 bar and see where we end up sitting here if we pull it over to line up there. That's closer, that's closer. I'm going to go one more here. I think that's the fence there. Let's see if we got it now. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. That looks like everything lines up to me. Let's get our defense sitting right on our fades here now.
Irving and Curry.
So that's sitting pretty good timing wise. All we'll do actually is probably put some reverb on it so it holds out longer. I'm gonna put a little bit EQ on it first, just to clean it up a little bit. So we'll just do a little bit of a loop here. And we'll see if we can get it to sound a little bit better before we send it through a reverb. So that's a little bit tighter. We got rid of some of that low end. I'm gonna see if putting a reverb directly on it gives it a little bit of length before I send it to a reverb by itself. So let's see if we can find a reverb that fits nicely here. Not bad, that's a little long. And I would probably want to send it to that. So let's do that. Let's create an effects channel. And I'm liking that arena verb because it matches pretty closely to a basketball arena. We'll throw that on there and we'll EQ it afterwards. I'm just going to shorten it up a little bit too. It felt a little long, so we'll pull it back. 800 sounds okay. And then we'll put an EQ after it. And I usually like to roll everything below 200 off because I don't want any mud there. We're going to send this to my mix bus, solo safe it, and then we will send our sample here to the arena verb. So let's see how these two are sitting together and if they're sounding okay. So the reverb's sounding better. Now I'm going to level balance the defense in with our claps, and then we'll pull the reverb up underneath it. I'm going to switch to mono for this just so I can get my center point right, sitting with the clap. I'm actually thinking if we try the other one, so I'm going to duplicate this and just drag it back and see what our other one's looking like. That sounds better to me. I'm going to nuke this one for the moment. We'll just create a new layer in case we ever need to get back to that one. Call it original. Make sure our new layer doesn't overwrite our old layer. We'll get rid of that one and drag this one over and see if we can get this one to line up. And we'll be good to go here. That's feeling pretty good right there for me. So all we did was we wanted to find the better version of the sample. The second one got cut off at the end before the announcers came back in. I don't want any of the announcers bleeding in. We had a little bit of the same problem with this sample because they start clapping after it, and I don't want to hear any of those claps. So trying to pull those out as much as possible without getting rid of the end or the end of the word defense. I want to be able to hear the end of the word defense, which you couldn't hear very clearly. In the other one, it felt like it cut off a little bit. That's why I felt like we had to add the reverb. Still added the reverb on this one just to give it a little bit more of that room sense, but this one's lining up pretty good. I just want to hear it with the drums one more time, and then we'll throw in the entire track one more time as well. So going back here to the beginning, we'll see if we can get it to sit right with this whole phrase. That's feeling pretty good. Let's flip back to stereo here, and we'll take a listen to that phrase, see where we're sitting here. That's feeling pretty good. So that's my process there for pulling in a sample. And if you need to figure out how to import a sample, these are just pulled from YouTube. So you can grab a YouTube link, Google a YouTube to MP3 exporter, paste in your link, download it, preferably 360p or the highest quality you can get from that. And then you just pull in the audio file into Studio One. It'll import it right away for you. And all we did was use a couple different techniques to get it to line up correctly. So we spliced our sample, and then we used our shortening technique. So if you hold down Command and Alt at the bottom right corner of your piece, you'll see the little clock line up, and then you can drag to the left to shorten it or drag to the right to lengthen it. So it'll be a little bit slower or a little bit faster, and we can get it to fit in with the timing of our track better. I hope that was helpful for you. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you're ready to take your mixes to the next level and start dialing in your workflow as an engineer, then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and you can download it below to start creating more professional mixes in less time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.